Hello and welcome to Gadget Guru, where this week we're also being joined by Siva, who's the Managing Director of Sales and Marketing for Intel for the whole of South Asia. And today we're going to be telling you the new technologies that are going to totally change the way you're using devices in the next couple of years. Right, Rajiv?
Totally. In fact, I think the most interesting part of all of this is we're talking about devices that are now using 0.8 watts as a processor. Just cast your mind back a few years, we're talking 60 watts. So incredible changes there.
So smaller devices that will have much better battery life. We're going to come to all of this in just a couple of minutes. But first, let's quickly run you through, as we always do, the gadget and gizmo related news stories of the week.
Dell has staked its claim to the world's thinnest laptop. The Adamo is thinner than the MacBook Air, even at its thickest point. Sleek and stylish to look at, it is definitely not the lightest, although it is probably one of the most expensive Dell products in its category. Watch an exclusive and comprehensive review of the Adamo next week, only on Gadget Guru. Tech Grapevine is abuzz with news that the world's biggest PC maker HP may be exploring Google's Android operating system for its netbooks. If true, then this could mean stiff competition to Microsoft Windows.
Alright, you're watching a special edition of Gadget Guru. We have Siva with us here, who's the Managing Director, Sales and Marketing at Intel. Siva, just till a couple of years back, when you think of computers, when you think of laptops, when you think of any device,
sure,
it's big, it consumes lots of electricity, and it's hot, right? Now, there are new technologies that are coming in,
sure,
and I'm seeing some of it out here. Your chipsets, for example, are moving from this, which was used for the Celeron, to these. There are Atoms for netbooks, and now Atom processors for mobile internet devices. What does this do to a device?
Yeah, fundamentally, I think this period of innovation that has happened in the computing industry has probably taken us into this period of a massive expansion in innovation of form factors. What it really does is our ability to shrink devices, make them cooler, make them more ultra portable, and also take them into usage models that was previously not possible when you had a large desktop or even had a full-size notebook. So I think that's fundamentally the change that's happening.
So in other words, as power consumption becomes more and more efficient, we're going to get lots more devices like these. I mean, just look at these small little things like this. You carry the internet around with you everywhere. And this is the trend, Rajiv. This is the way it's going to move. You're going to have...
In fact, this wasn't going to be even possible. You're totally right. This is what has enabled different form factors. Think about this a few years back. Can you imagine a 60-watt processor in this? It would have a battery life of about 30 seconds. It would be over and done with. You power it on and bang, it says goodbye. These change the entire equation, and these are amazing internet devices. In fact, I think what we'll do is, not very many of these have been ever released in India. I think before we go forward, what I really want to do is very quick glance at some of these and a completely new category with a new name which I think has been coined by Intel only. They call them net tops. Desktops become net tops, like laptops became netbooks. So now this is a new one. So some internet devices and a whole new form factor for you, net tops.
Known as a mini PC, NetTops, a small form factor computer designed for performing basic computation tasks like net surfing, accessing web-based applications, document processing, and audio and video playback. Mainly available on 3 major platforms, NVIDIA's Ion, VIA's Trinity, and Intel's Atom platform, it's a revolutionary Atom which has been adopted by a majority of hardware manufacturers thanks to its 70% smaller than a desktop CPU microchip package that enables small net top form factors like this one. Not available for commercial use as yet, this net top CPU is also based on a 1.6 GHz Atom processor and boasts of a 1 GB memory along with a 160 GB hard disk drive in small form factor. It also has a whopping 6 USB 2.0 ports in addition to a DVD-ROM and a DVD-RW optical disc drive and stereo audio capabilities. And while the price is yet to be announced, we can assure you it won't burn your pocket.
So Siva, obviously one of the factors that has been driving this is the fact that you're reducing the power consumption on the CPUs and the chipsets in this. How much have you been able to drive it down by, from this Celeron to this? How much is it?
Yeah, from a Celeron, a laptop based on a Celeron system, CPU and all the other chips go with it, might consume about 30 watts, right? Now
30 watts is like a small bulb.
It's like a small incandescent bulb. You know,
imagine
just a regular
which would
bulb.
still run really hot.
Watts.
I mean, holding on to a 30-watt bulb.
Yeah, you won't be able to touch a 30-watt
actually work
bulb.
on a laptop for 3 hours.
You can read on a 40-watt bulb.
So that's still talking major heat being produced.
Okay, so this consumes the chip with the chipset about 30 watts. You're saying?
Right.
How much did this consume?
That'll be 0.8 watt. So these are incredibly low power consuming devices.
35 times lower.
That causes you to be able to carry these devices.
But interesting question, just before we were all starting, and Vikram made that point also, is that about the only thing that makes the difference? Because there are so many other components too in a device.
In fact, perhaps you could just quickly look at it. Let's just see, in a typical device, what percentage of power, an average device,
a laptop I think would be the best, because that's what everybody uses now.
A laptop, how much, what does the CPU consume and the chipset consume, and what is consumed by everything else? Let's just take a look.
It is a must-have gadget of the day, and it's becoming leaner, greener and faster than ever before. But still, an average laptop consumes anywhere between 45 to 60 watts of energy, depending on the model and make. And in case you were wondering how this is distributed, then here is an energy breakdown of major laptop components. The CPU. Starting from the basics, the CPU can be by far the biggest consumer of power in a laptop. And starting from a paltry 4% when not in use to an even whopping 52% power can be consumed by your CPU, depending on the kind of applications you run on your laptop. While using your laptop on dim light may strain your eyes, viewing it at full LCD backlight definitely strains the power consumption of your laptop, as the backlight alone can take away anywhere between 7% to 29% of your energy consumption. And that is in addition to the 5% to 9% energy consumed by your LCD panel. Do keep in mind that energy used by your LCD as a whole totally depends on the brightness you choose deemed fit for your viewing. The kind and space of your hard disk drive can also determine how much energy is used by your laptop's hard drive, as it can suck up anywhere between 4% to 15% of the energy. And while memory will consume anywhere between 2 to 5%, the optical drive can extract up to 2%. And while going may take another percentage of power, which too while in Wi-Fi mode. It will leave anywhere between 18% to 30% of energy consumption for the rest of your system, depending on the combinations of the task you perform. Do keep in mind that this breakdown may change from machine to machine and the kind of tasks you perform on it.
So therefore, Rajiv, to really get the revolution going, you've got to drive everything down. They are making a lead in the processor. You've got changes happening on hard disk drives. You're going to solid state drives.
Solid state drives.
Very expensive though.
At the present moment, more than the device itself is actually a solid state hard drive.
I saw on MacBook Air. I mean, that solid state.
$1,000 for 120 GB right now. It's obvious. But the good thing is, the technology exists, and it's going to obviously percolate down to becoming functional as a mass market solid state drive. Maybe 3 years from now, we'll never talk about mechanical hard drives.
Yeah, I think you will always find, at least for a period of time in the foreseeable future, the capacities that you can drive into these what we might call mechanical storage in terms of a hard disk drive, those capacities are still going to beat out what you can do in solid state. But as exponentially as the memory industry has been able to drive cost, you get to a point where an average user who can afford maybe a 200 GB solid state device finds that perfectly acceptable, paying a slight premium, just because of the convenience of that.
How much are they going to be priced at? That's a crucial question. In a country like India, if you really want those to be accepted, you've got to be pricing them at, I don't know, 1,000 rupees.
Yeah, so I think
500 rupees.
Sure.
How about that?
And you guys know about how volume drives ultimate pricing. But I think in this particular case, you're also going to see a tremendous amount of innovation in business models. Increasingly, these things will
maybe they'll be
bundled
given
as
away
part of
free with-
services.
Yeah.
Don't let me advertising funded computing. Thanks so much, Siva, for joining us
thank you,
out
Siva.
here.
You bet.
Any
Wonderful
other
having
major
you.
innovation we can expect from you at Intel?
I think, you know, the drive in terms of improving silicon, that is our bread and butter, will continue to do that. I think what you will see is that this driving to low power will take our architecture into newer and newer devices. There is a device sitting here, right here, which is a financial inclusion device. You'll see this going into consumer electronics. You'll see it in your car. You will see it in many other forms that you are not familiar with Intel architecture going into beyond the desktops and laptops.
All right, Siva, we're going to look forward to all of that. Thank you so much for joining us out here.
Thank you. I think the one lesson that we all know, that when you have a form factor that is limitless, then the possibilities are endless.
That's right.
That's what's really happening out here.
exactly
Very interesting.